All right, seventh grade. This is lesson 2, and it is on rounding whole numbers. All right, our vocabulary for this lesson is rounding, which is expressing a number to the nearest 10, 100, 1,000, and so on. Reminder, when rounding to a certain place, remember to change all the numbers after that place to 0. That is an important part to remember. So I'm going to highlight that. All right. The actual attendance at the 1994 Major League Baseball All-Star Game was 59,568 people. The newspaper's figure was obtained by rounding the number to the nearest 10,000. No matter how large or small the number, the rules for rounding are the same. To round a number, first find the place being rounded to. Here, the number being rounded to is the 10,000ths place. For example, we are going to look at the number 59,568. The 5, this 5 that I highlighted, is in the 10,000ths place. 59,000 is between 50,000 and 60,000. To figure out which one is closer, you look at the digit to the right of the place you are rounding. If the digit is 5 or greater, round the number up. If the digit is less than 5, round the number down. Here, 9 is greater than 5, so the number is rounded up to 60. One of the things that I like to do when I'm rounding is I like to circle. Let's try that again. I am rounding the 5. So I'm going to circle the 5. I'm going to draw an arrow to the number that comes directly to the right. That's the number that I have to look at and decide. If it's 5 or above, I round up. If it's 4 or below, it stays the same. Since the 9 is above 5, I round my circle number up 1. Now, for our guided practice, it says round 1,452,625 to the nearest hundred. It says what is the place that is being rounded to? We're rounding to the hundred. So I'm going to write 100 on the line. Which digit is to the right of this place? So my 100, I'm going to come up here and circle it. And it is the 6 is in the 100 and look to the right. So when it says digit, that's the number. Which digit is to the right? The right is a 2. So I'm going to write a 2 on the line. Since 2 is below, you should round down. So we're going to write down. And what is the rounded number? The rounded number is 1,452,000. Since I rounded down, my circle stays the same. So it stays a 6. And then everything that follows that is zeros. So my new number is 1,452,600. All right, we're ready to move on to the exercises. Now, the first set says round to the nearest 10. The next one says round to the nearest 100. The next one says round to the nearest 1,000. And the next one is round to the nearest 10. And the last one is round to the nearest 100,000. Now, if you remember, my little trick is I like to circle the number that I am rounding. So when I'm rounding to the nearest 10, that is the second digit to the left. So my first one, I'm going to circle my 8, and it says round to the nearest 10, so I draw my little arrow over, and it's a 7, that's above 5, so I round my circle up. So when I round 8 up, it becomes a 9, and then anything after that is zeros. So that's 90. I'm going to have you pause here and finish problems 3, 4, and 5 on your guided practice. Now we're going to round to the nearest 100. Since I'm rounding to the nearest 100, I want to circle the hundreds place, draw my little arrow to the number to the right. My number that my arrow is pointing to is a 2. That's below. So my circle stays the same. So it's going to be a 2, and then everything after becomes zeros. So I put 2 zeros. Now you're going to pause the video and finish problems 7, 8, and 9. Problem number 10 says round to the nearest 1,000. So I'm going to circle the digits in the 1,000. Going to draw an arrow over. It's a 5. So I have to 5 or above, you round up. So my circle's going to round up. My circle becomes a 6, followed by the 3 zeros to hold place value. Now you're going to pause and do problems 11, 12, and 13. In problem 14, we're going to be rounding to the nearest 10,000. So I'm going to circle what's in the 10,000, draw my arrow over. It's a 2, so my circle's going to stay the same because a 2 is below. So my circle stays the same, and then I have to have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Don't forget your little comma in there. Now you're going to pause the video to finish 15, 16, and 17. On the last one, or the last group of problems, you're going to round to the nearest 100,000. 100,000 is in this spot. I draw my arrow. It points to a 1. That's below, so my circle stays the same. And everything after becomes 0, so it's 5 zeros. And then don't forget your comma. All right, now you're going to pause the video and continue on with problems 19, 20, and 21. For the application, you're going to put yourself in the place of a newspaper reporter describing how the numbers of naval personnel have changed from 1990 to 1993. You want to make the numbers easy to compare. You also want to keep the data as accurate as possible. Here are the actual data. In 1990, it was 579,417. In problem 19, in 1991, it was 570,262. In 1992, it was 541,883. And in 1993, it was 509,950. So I've highlighted the numbers that we're going to be looking at. It says round each of these numbers so they are accurate but are easy to compare. So you have to decide what you want to round to. Do you want to round to the nearest 10, nearest 100, nearest 1,000, nearest 10,000, nearest 100,000? You have to make that decision. Now, I think in this case, with being in the thousands, anything in the hundreds place would be too small. So I would either pick the thousands or 10,000s. Now, if you go to the 100,000s, you would have all of them being 5 or 6. So I would pick either the thousands or the 10,000s. You're going to write your numbers down here on the lines. And it says the last part, you have to do a little writing. Describe why you rounded the way that you did. And if you need to go back and listen a little bit to my explanation, it might give you a hint of what to write. So good luck, have fun, and don't forget to submit this to me through Canvas when done. Have fun and enjoy.